Hello everyone! Today's topic is Don't Trust People Who Say This, a Buddhist perspective. Let us learn about two things people say that should make you wary of them. These things are very impactful and sway us easily despite not actually being true, which is why many people make use of them to draw in and manipulate others. And this is precisely why you need to know about them. Once you're aware of the convincing but false lines that people employ, you'll be much better able to sense when you're in danger of being manipulated yourself. So what are those lines and why are they false? That is what we will explore this time. Today we will learn about the following. 1. Others cause, own effect. 2. Only seeds that are sown will grow. The first thing that should make you distrust others if you hear them say it is, all bad things are this kind of person or thing's fault. The kind of person or thing specified will be someone or something other than the speaker. When you hear someone saying that all your suffering is the fault of someone or something other than you need to take a step back, recognize that this person is only saying what you want to hear, and exercise caution. That, of course, is easier said than done, because what these people say tends to be very convincing and appealing, and they may appear to have many supporters. In fact, they will often purposely choose their words to elicit as much outrage and engagement as possible. Weibo is China's second largest social media platform, and its main function is microblogging. Analysis of posts made by users on Weibo has apparently shown that those that get the most traction are not happy or positive messages, but overwhelmingly angry ones. The most widely circulated of these posts include sentiments such as, "It's this person's fault that we're poor," "That person is the reason why we're suffering. Don't let them get away with this." One reason for this is that people feel like they have to pass on these messages to let everyone know about them. Of course, by no means does this apply only to Weibo. In 2018, a scandal erupted when it emerged consulting firm Cambridge Analytica had acquired data from millions of unknowing Facebook users and used it to prey on their anger and fear with targeted content intended to steer them into supporting Donald Trump's campaign for the U.S. presidency. Notably, Steve Bannon, who was a campaign advisor for Trump and the former White House chief strategist, was apparently vice president of Cambridge Analytica's board at one point. Anger, fear, and blame are huge sources of engagement for social media, with users getting a rush from banding together to rage at the perceived culprits for any and all social ills, both real and imagined. Whether it be crime rates, poverty, or any other cause for discontent and anxiety, placing the blame on someone or something, for it feels satisfying, and so posts that do this are often spread far and wide. When we examine human nature from a Buddhist perspective, it's easy to see why this happens. It is taught that by default, when bad things happen, we assume that others' causes have brought our own effects. In other words, we automatically think that the bad situation we are experiencing now was brought about by somebody else's actions, and not our own. This is a mentality called others' cause, own effect. Buddhism teaches that this is a mistaken way of looking at things, since all effects that we experience are actually the product of our own causes. This is a principle called own cause, own effect. What we reap is what we ourselves have sown. However, this is not a teaching that we can easily accept. In fact, upon hearing it, our knee-jerk reaction is to balk. Are you saying my suffering is my fault? We wonder aghast. That's victim blaming. It's clearly that guy's fault. In this way, it is our instinct to shun own cause, own effects in favor of others' cause, own effect. It's only when we take the time for calm, careful, rational thought that the logic of own cause, own effects makes sense to us. Otherwise, our emotions naturally convince us that someone else's deeds must be the cause of our suffering. Why is this so? Buddhism teaches that this is because our blind passion of ignorance is at play. This is our inability to comprehend and accept the law of cause and effect and our resulting impulse to blame and resent others when bad things happen to us. Since, according to Buddhism, we are each made entirely of those passions, it is simply in our nature to default to an other's cause, own effect mentality and reject all notion of own cause, own effect. Understanding that it is our own causes that bring about our own effects, however, is not about simply shifting the blame. Rather, it enables us to engage in logical, practical reflection. This is a result of my own deeds. All right then, where did I go wrong? What was the cause of this trouble I'm facing now? And how do I fix it? This is to see things clearly or to see things as they are. When we think carefully, calmly, and honestly about why something bad happened to us, that better enables us to identify the actual cause within ourselves, which in turn enables us to take steps to change things for the better. Buddhism teaches that those who see causes clearly and rationally in this way are wise, and wisdom is the opposite of ignorance. It is those who are wise that understand and accept that own causes produce own effects. Otherwise, our first assumption is that the situation is someone or something else's fault. This is simply human nature at play. It is, however, a very easily manipulated aspect of our nature, sometimes to devastating effect. The notion that a particular kind of person is responsible for all that is wrong with the world. Others' causes produce own effects, of course, form the basis of the rhetoric employed by Adolf Hitler. In a psychological analysis of Adolf Hitler, his life and legend, a document written by psychoanalyst Walter Charles Langer for what is now the Central Intelligence Agency, or CIA, of the United States, former Nazi Kurt Eldecke is quoted as having said of Hitler, his primary rules were: never allow the public to cool off, never leave room for alternatives, concentrate on one enemy at a time, and blame him for everything that goes wrong. Hitler appealed to the German public by blaming all that was wrong with their country on the Jews and calling for the extermination of Jews and the crushing of communism. He knew that his claim that Germany's troubles were all the fault of the Jews was one that the masses would easily swallow because it played on their natural eagerness to have a target to blame and despise, so he repeated it again and again. This would prove an effective tactic, gaining him and the Nazi Party a great many supporters. The ease with which these kinds of false yet rousing claims are accepted by people shows us how important it is to stay on guard when it comes to what we allow ourselves to believe. When we see or hear people pinning the blame for things on entire groups of people in this way, rather than just accepting it as truth, we need to ask ourselves, is this actually based in fact, or is this person just trying to rile people up to suit their agenda? It is essential to take a step back and fact-check such claims with calmness and rationality. Rage-filled claims that such and such kind of person is responsible for such and such problem come in many varieties. You may come across people who are adamant that all societal ills are due to toxic parents, or because of women's liberation, or due to immigrants, or particular countries, or the rich, or the government, or any of the other many potential targets of ire, and the poster or speaker might even call others to violence. This is an ever-growing problem that we need to be wary of because it's all too easy for us to be swayed by outrage-fueled misinformation. The second thing that should make you distrust others if you hear them say it is, here's an easy way to make money. This too is a claim with great allure. The topic of money making is one that grabs the attention of the majority of people, and if you add that There's an easy way to do it. Everybody is all ears. Who wouldn't want to get rich with little effort? Daily grind getting you down? Well, if I got news for you. If you do this one thing for just half an hour each day, you'll soon be raking in the cash like there's no tomorrow. Wow, making money has never been so simple. Don't believe us? Well, why don't you give it a try? Just click the link and get started making big bucks today. It's certainly an attractive prospect. With ads like this littering social media nowadays, we are constantly tempted to set aside our doubts and just go ahead and click on one to find out more. Could the life of easy money we all crave really be just a click away, though? Not likely. Once again, before we cave to temptation, we need to take a step back and ask ourselves, is this actually legit? If we refer to the Buddhist law of cause and effect, we'll soon see through the deception. In Buddhism, Allah is something that runs through the 3 worlds and the 10 directions. In other words, it stays true at all times and places. The law of cause and effect teaches us that all effects have causes without exception, and that all causes are sure to bring about effects too. When it comes to the effects that we experience, the cause of all of those is nothing other than our own deeds. Therefore, Buddhism teaches what brings about our fate is karmic causes. Karma meaning deeds. We are the ones who create our own destiny. Every one of our karma or deeds will lead to retribution. Whether the fruits we reap are good or bad depends on whether the seeds we sow are good or bad. All our successes, all our failures, all our wins, and all our losses then come from our own corresponding actions. This means that if you put in a regular level of effort, you'll get a regular level of good results. If you put in 5 times that effort, you'll get 5 times as great a result. And if you put in 10 times that effort, you'll get 10 times as great a result. If someone who has a regular level of good results wants 5 times as great a result, they'll have to put in 5 times as much effort as they do now. That effort is comprised of various aspects, including planning, decisiveness, and boldness. Clearly, then, these will all have to be ramped up if the person wants to obtain better results. But what if you find yourself getting only a regular level of good results despite putting in 5 times the regular effort? Well, not to worry. You can think of it as adding to your good results savings the results of an extra 4 times of effort that seem to be unaccounted for are just being stored up for the future. If you put in 5 times the regular effort next year and still only get a regular level of good results, all the rest is going into savings then too. Try not to worry about it too much and just keep on putting in 5 times the regular effort. Eventually, all that saved up goodness is sure to come back to you at once. So what the law of cause and effect tells us is that whether it be sooner or later, we are sure to reap the results of the seeds we have sown. Well then, what about situations where we're putting in a regular level of effort but seem to be getting results that are 5 times as great as we seemingly ought to be getting? It can't be just because of the deeds we're doing now, since the cause and effect don't match. So this too must be because of our good result savings. We just need to be aware that things won't be able to go on like this forever, and that those who easily gain things may just as easily lose them. If, say, we earn money through earnest and persistent effort, that is less likely to disappear easily, but money gained easily will easily be gone. Therefore, it is advisable not to get too puffed up about gaining results that are greater than the efforts we are putting in, because if we do, we will have to suffer painful repercussions later on. Always keep in mind that Sakyamuni Buddha taught that we will only ever reap fruits that are proportionate to the seeds we have sown. Knowing this will make immediately apparent that any notion of gaining easy money or getting rich quick is patently absurd. If you hear anyone claiming they can help you get rich quick, it should set off your alarm bells. In this modern era, life has become incredibly fast-paced, and people are constantly trying to figure out how to maximize efficiency and minimize the time and energy we spend on things. In 2015, Microsoft's Research Institute compiled the results of a study on brainwaves to measure people's attention span. As of the year 2000, the average attention span was about 12 seconds. By 2013, however, this had shrunk to just 8 seconds. Goldfish have an attention span of 9 seconds. The human attention span isn't even as long as that of a goldfish anymore. What with the likes of short videos being so popular nowadays, it's doubtful that the average human attention span is even as long as 8 seconds. People seem to be finding it increasingly difficult to put in the steady effort needed to keep their focus on one thing and be patient and persevering. You even hear of people watching entire films on double speed to save time. The number of people who can put their entire focus into one thing and see it through to the end appears to be dwindling, so those who can do this now stand out. In a word, where everyone else is merely gold-plated, those who are truly gold outshine the rest. There is a poem that goes like this: behind the path, where many go, blossom-covered hills. What this is saying is this: there's a path in the mountains that everyone takes because it's the easiest route. However, there is also another path that branches off from the main route. It's hilly and narrow and difficult to walk, but if you go along it, you'll find hills covered in beautiful flowers. We have a habit of defaulting to the easiest path, and so people offering what they claim is an easy way to earn money will attract a deluge of people. However, as the competition is so fierce, this creates what is known as a red ocean in business terms, alluding to the waters of the ocean turning red with blood as people do battle with each other. If instead you purposely choose to take the path that nobody else wants to take, because it's too difficult, you will end up in a peaceful blue ocean where there is no competition, and success will actually be easier to come by for you. Currently, we are in a time where people are constantly seeking ways to earn money quickly, easily, and efficiently. Rare is the person who actively chooses to take the other path of steady, diligent hard work, where they will have to acquire real skills to get ahead. In the past, it used to be more difficult to make a name for yourself amongst all the other people who were putting a huge amount of effort and discipline into their work. Now, however, with more people turning to the easy route, those who earnestly strive to build their own success from the ground up stand out and earn praise and admiration from others. People who have earned their success by forging their own path won't gain any satisfaction from simply trying to follow in someone else's footsteps to success, since actually achieving success the way they have done is the difficult route. However, most people would balk at the idea of trying to do the same thing as them, finding the prospect of matching all their effort, research, discipline, and courage to be far too daunting. Consequently, the successful person faces little to no competition. So if you deliberately take the difficult, thorny path behind the one that everyone else takes, you will find a wonderful place where no one else ever goes. Today we have learned about why those who make claims about easy ways to make money and those who place blame on whole groups of people should not be trusted. Both of these notions go against the Buddhist law of cause and effect, which tells us that we will only ever get results that correspond with the seeds we ourselves have sown. That means no success will ever come from minimal effort, and blaming others for the misfortune we ourselves are going through is wrong. We must instead solemnly accept that all that happens to us is the product of the seeds we ourselves have sown. From a Buddhist viewpoint, it is immediately apparent that something is off when either claim is made. However, both get rich, quick schemes and chances to point the finger at others hold great appeal for most people, and so it is shockingly easy for us to get sucked into these things. This is something we need to be cautious about. On this channel, I explain what exactly is taught in Buddhism by examining issues that are familiar to all. If this sounds interesting and you'd like to learn more about Buddhism, I'd be delighted if you'd subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching this video.